Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be with you and God's blessing. Annyeonghaseyo. Hello everyone. My name is Hadi. I'm a science teacher from Indonesia. I teach science in Alhamdulillah Junior High School. And I hope we always keep and safe and healthy, and we wish that the pandemic gonna be over soon. Okay, as you see the light, as you can see this in the slide, we are going to learn about the chemistry and the cultural understanding with me, Hadi Sukoco, and then our project is the heritage clothes of Indonesia-Korea, and we will learn about the comparisons pattern in their heritage clothes. Let's take a look at the slide. As you can see, this is our learning objective. So after we learn about this project, and we can get some learning objective. There are, the first one, the teacher are be able to explain about their history and their philosophy from the pattern in the Korea and Indonesia heritage clothes. And then number two, the teacher are be able to share their intercultural understanding about their value and the deep moral message from their traditional clothes. So these learning objectives are very important to us, how to learn our culture and to know our culture, and we can share our culture. Now, next to the next slide. As you can see, we can learn first about some fact about batik from Indonesia. First, this is the batik. Yeah, it coming from in Indonesian language is a dot. Yeah, it coming from one dot to another dot. So the batik is very special. And the batik officially is one of the most highly developed art form of Indonesia rich cultural heritage. And then in 2009, UNESCO has recognized Indonesian batik as a masterpiece of oral and the third intangible heritage of humanity after keris and the puppet. And for your information, in Indonesia, we celebrate National Batik Day on October 2nd, so that everyone in Indonesia should to wear batik. Not only students, but the worker also, they have to use or they have to wearing batik when they go to school or they want go to work. Yeah. This is our president and the Korean president. Yeah. They are used batik when the Korean president came to Indonesia. And the last one, as you can see, there are tools. Yeah. We call it chanting. Yeah. Batik is a fabric drawn using a traditional tools that we call chanting. Or many people say it's like a copper cap that used to speed up the process of making batik. The batik fabric is a means of manifestation of a patience, perseverance, thoroughness, and the life philosophy of a batik maker. So after we learn about Indonesian's batik characteristic and the fact. Now we have to learn also there are some facts about the Korean handbook. As you can see from the slide, this is me when I came to Korean on 2018 with my friend. We are using handbook. There are many kind of style of handbook. So for the first time, a traditional Korean dresses that for semi-formal or the formal attire during traditional occasion such as festival, celebration, and ceremony. In that time, many people use or wear the handbook for that moment. And then we can see the beauty style of the handbook. There are many kind of color. The handbook consists of vibrant color from the patterns and also from the material and from the ornament can describe Korean identity. And then from the information that I got, especially from the Goryeo dynasty, the handbook started to determine the differences in the social status through the many types and the component. And their characteristic from the people with the higher social status is like a king, and to those of the lower social status like a slave. So there are many kind of handbook that we know. So you can see from the picture, there are from the king or until the slave, they have different style and different color and different motif too. Okay, now I want to show you about the kind of batik in Indonesia that very famous, that very popular, that every know this motif. Why I choose this batik Megamendung? Because the batik Megamendung is contain a full of philosophy that we can learn from this pattern of batik. So what we are waiting for, we can now we see the movie about the history of batik Megamendung. Let's see the movie.
History of Batik Megamendung. Batik originally come from the Japanese ambatik, a cloth with dots or spots. See the maps of Indonesia, West Java, Central Java, Yogyakarta, and East Java. Indonesian batik in its spaghetti form has been in Java and some other area since at least in the early 19th century. Since the mid-1980, batik culture has spread to many more provinces outside Java. Batik Megamendung. Batik is a craft with a high artistic value and a philosophy as reflected in every stroke contained in a motif. In each type or symbols from different culture, since the archipelago is one among many key trading posts in the region. And then the one of them is Batik Megamendung. Why this batik pattern called as a Megamendung? Megamendung history. Megamendung is a famous batik pattern from Cirebon region, West Java, Indonesia. It's recorded in history that Sunan Gunung Jati, 9th century of Islam, referred in Indonesia, married with Queen Ong Chen from China. Some of the art objects that were brought from China include ceramic plate fabrics that adorn the shape of clothes. The philosophy. Megamendung also has meaning or philosophy that a person's heart should remain calm and cool in any situations, like a cloth overcasting on a hot day to cool the surrounding atmosphere. This philosophy could be applied to a leader who must be able to cool and protect his subordinates or his community. There are notable differences between the cloth patterns in the Megamendung style and the cloth patterns in the China style. The cloth patterns on the Megamendung are sharp and triangular, while in the Chinese style, the cloth patterns are more rounded. Megamendung uses colors with the gradients when China's style doesn't. In this era, the color gradation on the batik Megamendung often been reduced to 3 until 5 colors and made with a variety of batik material in order to adapt with the market demand. The traditional color of blue and red can also now being replaced with other colors such as yellow, purple, and green. Indonesian batik was added to UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. So, what should we do? As a part of global citizenship, we must proud of our identity by keep and conserve our heritage with sharing intercultural understanding. Matur nuwun, terima kasih, thank you, kamsahamnida.
Yeah, there is some differences between batik and the hanbok. Yeah, they have a unique pattern in their pattern from the Korea or from the Indonesia. We can see from the first picture, coming from pattern in hanbok Korea, there are collaborate pattern from the cloth, from the animal, or from the flower. But how about in Indonesia? There are only one pattern, that is cloth pattern. Yeah, we back to the picture. There are two women that using the clothes. The first one is coming from the Korea, from the hanbok. We can see the beautiful hanbok here. And then if we see the picture closer, there are a unique cloth pattern. And how about in Indonesia? Okay, this is the clothes that we call batik, batik Megamendung, and then it's only from the one cloth. Yeah. The philosophy of cloth and pattern, we can see from the pattern in the hanbok Korea, the first one. The philosophy of cloth pattern in Korea, the cloth pattern has a philosophy of prosperity because the cloth symbolize that emergence of rain and the fertility. It indicated that the pattern also shows social positions or an individual that is given from the society or from the culture. Meanwhile, the cloth pattern batik in Indonesia that we call Megamendung literally means the rain's cloth. It represents the calmness in the face of rage. Besides that, this pattern also describes a human being. As a human being, we must be able to handle their emotion in every kind of situations, even in both in joy or in sorrow. Okay, now let's see some another pattern that is used in both of the Korea or from Indonesia. As you can see, there are the 6 kind of pattern both in Korea or in Indonesia. In this slide, we could see another pattern that is coming from hanbok Korea and from the batik Indonesia. And the first picture, pattern in Korea coming from the flower, it coming from the lotus, can be from the sharp lens, or sometimes can coming from animals. Yeah, it's like a bird from the stork, butterfly, and special from the animal we call it dragon. Yeah. And how about from the Indonesia? Yeah. In Indonesia we have a kawung, parang rusak, or megamendung. From the Korean pattern, we can get a meaningful that represents from the happiness, long life, prosperity, honor, and also fertility. The pattern that discover from the philosophy that already mentioned. And then from the batik, we have also similar meaning from the pattern in Korea. Pattern in batik have taught many value from our ideal life expectancy, existence, establishment, behavior, glory, and the noble guidance as contained in the pattern. Batik also coming from the animals. It coming from the eagles or sometimes from the plants like a flower, fruit, also used as a pattern in the batik. Those patterns are cultural expressions that contain symbolic meaning of philosophy and the high aesthetic value for Indonesian people. Philosophically, that we can got from those patterns in batik or handbook, they are represent aesthetic value and they contain symbolic meanings that are relevant to the life condition for today. And now I would like to explain more about the parang rusak pattern in the pattern of batik in Indonesia. Let's see the next slide. Okay. This is about the philosophy of parang rusak. Yeah. As you can see, there is an animal. Yeah. It's an eagle. And the eagle that represents the picture about the kind of the philosophy. There are many parts that we can learn from this animal. Yeah. I will tell the Indonesian language or from the local language from Indonesia. Yeah, if you can see the pattern in the right side, there are like Uceng, Tuding, Mustika, and Sayap, Intan, Ombak. I will change into the English language. Yeah, from the part of this animal, it can have a great meaningful philosophy. From the first one, we can see the mouth. Yeah, the mouth of the bird. The mouth of the bird, it seems like the fire tongue. So the leader's tongue is like a fire. It can burn a lot of population. So as a leader, we have to be more carefully when we say something or we say something to the people or for the civilization. And then from the head, the leader must to direct their civilizations. Yeah. And from the body, yeah, the body of this animal show that as an eagle is very strong, so the leader must be strong and we have to keep health. And how about the wings? Yeah, the wing represents a leader must be mobile and active. We can see that these animals, the eagles, can move everywhere, yeah, from the highest place to the lowest place. And the last one we can see is like a wave. Yeah, it's like a wave in the ocean. it represents that the leader works as on the wave, but when he does well, he will get the diamond. So the diamond is the achievement from the leader. So if we can make a whole conclusion from this part of the philosophy of Parang Rusak, even ourselves as a king or a leader with a great power and a great responsibility, do not forget that we are so small for our Creator. This is a great value that we can learn from the philosophy of Parang Rusak. So, if we make a conclusion from that we have learned, there are many knowledge and experience that we can get from the pattern. The first one, we can acquire a knowledge, have a sense belonging to a broader community, and we can act effectively responsibility from our heritage clothes. And then both Korea and Indonesia have their own philosophy and their own history from the pattern in their heritage clothes. That's why we have to keep, protect, and we have to preserve their history and their heritage clothes. And the most important thing, as a part of citizenship, we must keep and to conserve our culture. Yeah. So as a teacher or as an educator, don't forget we have to keep and to strengthen our culture. Now, can you see from the slide? There are couple that using hanbok, but the motif is coming from batik. So it represents that the couples have a creative or innovative way to keep and to conserve the traditional cloth or their traditional heritage. So this is a kind of collaboration from Indonesia or from the Korea can make a some project to make hanbok and collaborate with batik. And then as a global citizenship, what can we do to keep and to preserve our cultural heritage? And then how can we do as a student or a teacher to keep them to be conservative and preservative? Now, take a look in this slide. What you have to do, please find out your pattern in your heritage clothes and then try to find the philosophy that inspired the pattern. So if you can find the philosophy, you can get many things, you can get many experience and knowledge from the patterns that you will find it. And then I think what we can get from these sessions, and then I hope everything that I can give to you and to give this project can be used especially for the teaching and the learning process. That's all that I can share with you about the heritage clothes of Indonesia and Korea. And I hope everything from the information given could be a new experiment and the knowledge, especially how to implement global citizenship in the science classroom. Thank you once again and see you. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.